Hello everyone, I am Asha Bist. Today I welcome you all in class 6, second chapter of history, globe, latitudes and longitudes. Before this we discussed the first part. Today I am here with you all with the second part. Before starting with the second part, let's have a quick review of the first part we discussed in the previous video. Dear students, in the previous video what we discussed about the globe. We discussed about the equator, the parallels of latitude, as well as we had a brief introduction of the heat zones of the earth. So today we are going to take the second part of this lesson. So first of all, let's begin with the heat zone which we started in the previous presentation. So first of all, before moving towards the heat zones, I just want to give you some information regarding these heat zones. Dear students, there are many countries where they observe too hot temperature like Africa. But in some of the countries, like in European countries, they have cold weather there, cold climate, and in Arctic region near the poles, North Pole and South Pole, there is extreme cold. So you might be thinking why this happens. Our earth gets heat from sun. The sun rises everywhere. So why we have change of temperature? Okay, what are the reasons behind it? Children, you might have observed that if you go near a heat source, okay, like if you lit fire and you sit nearby that fire, you feel more heat as compare when you sit apart from that, far from it. Okay, so this is due to the distance from the heat. When the heat rays falls directly on something, that object receives the maximum heat, and if heat rays are blocked or do not fall on a surface directly, then that object will absorb less heat. Now, how this thing happens or affect our earth? Okay, let's see. Now, when you see the globe, okay, if you see the globe, it is inclined a little bit, okay, झुका हुआ है. When the sun rays falls directly on the earth on a particular side, as it is tilted, then those areas will observe maximum heat. At the same time, in some areas, these sun rays will fall in a tilted manner. So these areas will feel less heat. Towards the poles, okay, towards the pole, there is extreme cold as they are tilted or bent, so the sun rays never falls directly on them. So let's discuss the heat zones one by one. Okay, let's start with torrid zone. The midday sun is exactly overhead at least once a year on all latitudes in between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. This area therefore receives the maximum heat and is called the torrid zone. As in the previous part I explained you about the torrid zone. The torrid zone here you can see the orange color zone. Okay, right from equator to the Tropic of Cancer, and again from Tropic of Cancer, like equator to Tropic of Capricorn. This area is known as the torrid zone. So as we know that the torrid zone receives or feels the maximum, you can say, heat. Okay, that's why you can say that between the Tropic of Cancer, that is towards north, and Tropic of Capricorn, okay, towards south, the sun rays falls directly. So that is why they are too warm. Once in a year, the sun rays falls here at 90-degree angle. They observe maximum heat. That is why they are called the torrid zones. Moving forward, let's take now temperate zone. Beyond the Tropic of Cancer. Beyond the Tropic of Cancer, ठीक है, Tropic of Cancer के बाद till the Arctic region. Okay, till the Arctic region, the midday sun rays never falls directly at 90-degree. So the sun rays falls here in a slanting way, ठीक है, tilted manner they falls. This area between the Arctic Circle and Tropic of Cancer towards north and Tropic of Capricorn and Antarctic Circle towards the southern hemisphere, there is moderate temperature, neither too hot nor too cold. Okay, these areas neither feel too hot nor too cold. That is why here the the temperature is moderate. Okay, that is why here we call it as temperate zone. Moving forward, let us discuss frigid zone. Areas between the Arctic Circle and the North Pole and those between the Antarctic Circle and the South Pole receives sun rays at a big slant. Due to this, the sun is never much above the horizon. So, this part of the earth receives the least amount of heat and remains very cold. These zones are called frigid zone. Okay, above the Arctic region towards north and towards south, just below the Antarctic region. Areas that exist between Arctic Circle and North Pole and Antarctic Circle and South Pole, are the frigid zone because they are very cold all the time. All the things whatever is found here are in a freezed state, freezed form. That is why it is also known as frigid zone. Now let's talk about longitudes. The imaginary lines, like before this we studied about the latitudes, the imaginary lines, okay? And now here we are going to discuss the imaginary lines which run from one pole to another are called the longitudes. These are also called meridians of longitude. The earth has been divided into 1800 longitudes towards the east, okay, above the equator, not above the equator, towards the east direction of equator, and 1800 longitudes towards the west, okay, towards the west direction. The prime meridian and 1800 longitude together divide the earth into two equal halves. So the prime meridian, which passes through the center towards the north pole and the towards the south pole, there is the prime meridian. Okay, so it also divides the earth into two equal halves. Both 1800 east and 1800 west are on the same line. Here you can see the longitudes. These are the lines of longitudes. Let's give more detail to these longitudes. We see the vertical imaginary lines. See, these lines are the vertical imaginary lines. You can see here, these are the vertical imaginary lines. Okay, yes. Now, our earth, these are on our earth. They move from North Pole to South Pole. These imaginary vertical lines are known as longitudes. With the help of these lines, we can locate a place in a globe. They are semicircular lines which run from North Pole to South Pole. They are all equal in length. One important specific point regarding these longitudes are that they all are equal in length. The distance between the longitudes decreases towards the pole. Means once they start reaching towards the pole, the distance between each and every longitude starts decreasing. All the longitudes run from a same place and later meet at the same place. The longitudes we take Greenwich as 0 point. Now Greenwich, this is the place, it is in United Kingdom where there is British Royal Observatory. Now it is situated here, so that place is to be known as 0 degree longitude. This 0 degree longitude, dear students, it divides the earth into two equal halves. That is the eastern hemisphere. Okay, that is the eastern hemisphere and the western hemisphere. Okay, this 0 degree helped in locating any other place on the earth. With the help of this 0 degree, okay, it is very easy to locate any place on the earth. So to read the longitude, we write E for east and W for west. Okay, this writing E for east and W for west is very important, so that we can say that this country lies towards east of the 0 degree latitude, or lies towards the west of 0 degree latitude. Okay. Now let's move forward. Use of latitudes and longitudes. Why latitudes and longitudes are important for us? Latitudes and longitudes help us in finding the exact location of a place on the earth. Using these latitudes and longitudes, any place which is there on earth can be easily located. Now longitude and time. Let's discuss about the longitude and time. We know that the earth takes about 24 hours to make one rotation on its axis. Thus, the sunrise and the sunset easily tell us about morning and evening time. When the sun is directly overhead, it is midday, and you can match your watch to 12 noon at this time. Now, our sun is like a timekeeper for us. Okay, from past it has been working as a timekeeper for us, because earlier people used to see or calculate time as per its position. Particular things, like if we talk about during the noon time, the shadow of a particular thing is the shortest, and it is the longest during the sunrise time, and when the sun sets as well. In world map, if we see the Greenwich line, okay, in the world map, if we see the Greenwich line that is having noon, then all the places in that latitude, remember that if the Greenwich line is having noon time, then whatever place is there in that same longitude will have the noon only. Okay, the same time they will be observing. So we can say that the time will be the same in the places where they are in the same longitude. As the earth rotates from west to east, we all know that our earth rotates from west to east. So the countries which lies towards east, they get sunrise earlier. Why? Because the sun rises in the east. That is why they receive the sunrise early, okay, as compared to the western countries. You know that Japan and Arunachal Pradesh are called the land of rising sun, because they are the easternmost part of the earth. Places which are towards the east of Greenwich will be ahead of Greenwich, okay, Greenwich time, and places towards west will be behind Greenwich time. Okay, if we see the prime meridian here, you can see the prime meridian here. If we will move towards the east, they will be ahead. They will be ahead. And if we will move towards west, as per the time, they will be behind. Okay, they will be behind. Now, moving forward, the sun casts the smallest shadow that we have discussed when it is directly overhead, but the relative position of the sun in the sky keeps on changing as we move across the globe, either from east to west or vice versa. Okay, as we discussed about the shadow, that during the noon time, when the sun rays falls directly overhead, okay, that time the shadows are the smallest, and during in the morning time as well as at the evening time, the shadows are the longest. Okay, now one more thing that is very important here, that our earth rotates 360 degree. Okay, our earth when it rotates, पूरा एक चक्कर लगाती है जब 360 degree it covers, and for that to cover 360 degree, okay, it takes 24 hours. To cover 360 degree, it takes 24 hours. Okay, and takes 24 hours to complete one rotation. It means that if I said that the earth rotates 360 degree in 24 hours, it means that it completes one rotation in 24 hours, means one day and night it takes to complete its rotation. So in 1 hour it rotates 15 degree, and if we calculate it, then in 1 hour it rotates 15 degree. Okay, in 36 degree, to rotate 36 degree 360 degree, it takes 24 hours. So in 1 hour it will be rotating 50 degree only. Okay, and 1 degree will rotate in 4 minutes. And further, if we talk about that, rotates 1 degree in 4 minutes, or we can say in 4 minutes it rotates 1 degree. Now suppose if a match is played in England, okay, if we say that there is a match which is played in England, okay, so it starts at 2 p.m. If we say that this match starts at 2 p.m. and as per the Indian time, it will be seen in India at which time? This is a question which arises, that as per the Indian time, here it will be seen at which time? Now, if we see the Greenwich here, if you see this map, this world map, you can see the Greenwich line here. Okay, like I have put a dot here. This is the Greenwich line, which is at the 0 degree meridian. Okay, and we are comparing the two time zones. First, we are talking about the match which is played at 2 p.m. in England. Now, at what time it will be seen in India? If we calculate it, earlier in the previous slide I told you that here we are going to take that in you can say in 1 degree, to rotate 1 degree the earth takes 4 minutes, and we said that in 1 hour the earth rotates 15 degree. Suppose if from Greenwich, if we start taking the lines here 15 degree, okay, in after every 15 degree, if we calculate 15 degree, 30 degree, then we take 30 degree, then after that we take 45 degree, then 60 degree, 75 degree and 90 degree. You can see here, this is India. Okay? Now if we'll start counting from here, Greenwich 0 degree, then moving forward at 15 degree here, this place, okay, 15 degree here, then 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree here, 75 degree here. Okay, this is the 75 degree here. So here lies India. Then we can say that India is at 82.5 degree east, towards east. This is the east direction. Okay, so if we calculate time from here, the time which was there in England 2 p.m. now it will start increasing towards east. It will start increasing towards east. So let's count. At Greenwich, that time there was 2 p.m. Then moving forward, 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m. and while in India, this map will be played between 7:30, okay, between 7 or 8 p.m. So we can say that if the time is in Greenwich, that time 2 p.m., then the time in India will be nearby 7:30 p.m. Okay, so this we can say that why? Because while moving towards the east, the time will be increasing. Okay, the time increases, and if we move towards west, the time will be counted in minus. Here the time will be added, here the time will be in minus. Hope you understood it. Let's move forward. Now, why do we have standard time? Why do we have standard time? See, India is a huge country, is a large country. There are many states and they have different landscapes here. Okay, they are located in different places. So, the local time of places which are on different meridians are bound to differ. For example, it will be difficult to prepare a timetable for a trains. Like here, India is connected with through the railway tracks across all over the country. Okay, if we will not have a standard time, then what will happen? Suppose the train is starting from your place at 8 p.m. Okay, Now at your place the time is exactly 8 p.m. and you are supposed to reach one particular place at 9 p.m. Then what will happen? The time which you have started will be different at your place, and somewhere from where you have to reach that place will be different. So it will be difficult to manage a timetable for trains and other purposes also. That's why there was a need of making a standard time meridian. Okay, so like if I give a brief explanation to you about this, the local time of a place which is different in different meridians, okay, used to be different. So if we compare the time of two places, like say Dibrugarh in Assam and Dwarka in Gujarat, if we take this example, Dibrugarh in Assam and Dwarka in Gujarat. Now if you see, Dibrugarh lies towards the here east, and Gujarat lies towards west. Now if we think and see, thus it, as the Dibrugarh in Assam is towards east, it will have the sunrise earlier, okay, and west it will have the sunrise later. Okay, so Gujarat, there will be a difference of 1 hour and 45 minutes. From Dibrugarh, Assam to Gujarat, there will be a time difference of 1 hour and 45 minutes. So for many purposes, like preparing timetable for trains, we need to have a local time of a country as the standard time meridian, that is known as Indian Standard Time Meridian, IST. The 82.5 east longitude is taken as the standard time meridian of India, as it passes through the middle of India from Mirzapur near Allahabad. So this place is taken as the standard time meridian for India. Here you can say, I have mentioned it in this map, 82.5 towards east. This is the standard time meridian of India, okay, which passes through the middle of India, and it is from Mirzapur near Allahabad. Okay, move forward. Just let's see now. Okay, now this is all about this chapter. Hope you got the concept well. For better understanding, I will request you to watch the video carefully. Try to see the globe, okay, again and again. Observe the parallels of latitudes, longitudes also, okay. See the time zone as well as the grid and the world map which I have shown you to calculate the time. Okay, practice it at home. Take a map and then start practicing it at yourself, so that you can have a better understanding of this topic. We'll soon meet with some other chapters. Till then, thank you and take care.